Can we talk or not talk, family?
Shalom, shalom. I'm doing all right. It's a beautiful day. I thank Yah for His blessings and for for letting us be able to do this this little chat that we're doing. Um, and so let's get started.
Yes, sir. Let's get started. We're gonna uh where we left off at, I think you said was page 3.
Yes, page 3, and it starts with a husband can show reverence for his wife by demonstrating kindness, respect, and appreciation through supportive actions and words, such as listening. Um, I want to iterate that, you know, I'm not here to dress the man up. What I'm here to try to do is show that, that we have this thing called pride that gets in the way of us having this understanding that I'm talking about. And so when our pride gets in, it kind of like that's when Hasatan, when he comes in and he brings about confusion. So we have to always go to the word. Now, I've said that my wife is my wisdom. And sometimes when she is giving me that wisdom, it may come off as if, it's not that she don't know what she's saying. It's just, I may be in a mind frame where I'm not ready to hear that because, some things with the word, it cuts like a knife. It's a two-edged
Yeah,
sword,
come on.
and we can get cut. And
Right.
and it's casual conversation can lead to a serious conversation. So me and my wife, we've been going through this deal with her mom and her papa, mom and her stepdad, and so it's real stressful because we're getting a lesson in dying. It's a lesson before dying, and what's happening is it puts a strain on our relationship because our relationship, was like kind of like on easy street where everything was just going smooth. But when we got to the point to where Phyllis' mom and her stepdad started to really get more into their sickness or into to dying, hospice is joined in. And so now my days where I can study and stuff, it's kind of like my days are longer now. And and by my days being longer, I'm tired. And so but that's not an excuse. It's just, I just have to pray and ask y'all to give me more strength so I can be able to dwell with my wife with understanding. So with that said, um, I'm gonna pick up as husbands can show reverence for his wife or to his wife by demonstrating kindness, respect, and appreciation through supportive actions. The supportive action comes as me being a helpmate to my wife, and by my wife being the weaker vessel, but she's not weak spiritually, she's just the weaker vessel. I'm supposed to be the strong arm to be able to help carry her through these situations that we go through. You know, now when matters get tense, that's when men kind of like the pride kicks in when things get a little tense and stuff. And so We must pray that we overcome our pride, because a lot of times, our women, since they are the weaker vessel and stuff, they're more sensitive, and our words can
Right.
hurt, you know, even though we're not looking at it like that. It's just, we may say things and it's hurtful. And that's not demonstrating the kindness and respect and the appreciation and the supportiveness that we're supposed to give her. And I admit that I haven't been, you know, sometimes, I'm a good husband, but then I have my downsides, but I take accountability for that. So to try to combat that is, I got a lesson this morning, and it's real kind of short, but it's called defensive listening. And there's two ways to do that. You can do it in a positive, you can do it in a negative. But defensive listening is ministering innocent comments or misunderstanding is misunderstanding innocent comments as a personal attack. Defensive listeners may interpret general statements as being directed at them and are quick to react. This can cause misunderstandings and arguments and can be harmful to relationships. And so that's another side that we have to incorporate into dwelling with our spouse with understanding. Okay, I'm a defensive listener. And but it's not, I don't consider it to be a bad thing. It's just I take the defense. I got my guards up. And for me to keep my guards up, I have to take the defense, because words get said and words can hurt. They really can. And we can do the same thing too. We can twist it and we can put them on defense, and we can use our words to hurt them. So uh, so this thing is not something that you can just smooth over and just make it sound good. Now I can make it sound good, but that's not the truth, because Hasatan gets in the mix and he can mix it all up. He'll mess it up, And so that's where we have to be honest. We have to search within ourselves and say, well, okay, who's at fault? And sometimes, most of the time, we are at fault, the men, you know.
Yeah, come on, watch it. That right there, what you just said. I know a lot of times that just, me being in relationships, a lot of times that I was on defense too, but in a way that it was always, the woman's fault, and not truly take accountability for what I have did or what I have helped to cause, that situation to turn left, and what you're saying, that's definitely important for a lot of men to understand that, a lot of times, we can take it to another level instead of, allowing that situation to just, settle and be done and over with. We could take it to another level by keep egging it on and keep wanting to, over talk, because not all women escalate situations. They got some men because of, let's just be real. Some of
Mhm.
us was raised by women, and a lot of men, they got feminine traits, and they can egg on the situation by continuing to run their mouth. The woman might be done with it, but then you continue because you want to get the last word in, you want to nail in your point, and then that situation can go to another level. So just wanted to add that in there, but that's an excellent point.
Yeah, and the last word is usually the word that usually kind of like what it does is like it cuts, you know. So in being supportive, words such as listening to her, encouraging her passions, being present and communicating openly and respectfully. Okay, now when you have an open relationship, that gives the wife, you know, just as much as I have, to be able to express what she have to say. And I'm saying me. I'm not using me, and I'm just saying me myself. sometimes I don't have the patience to hear all that through, and I don't hear everything. You know, um, if I want to go back to my days when I was in AA, or when I was in Narcotics Anonymous, I have thinking errors still. My mind is not completely healed. I'm sober, you know, but I still have these ongoing things that's going on inside of me, you know, and so I have to defend myself in certain areas. I'm not trying to let myself off the hook, because once this stuff is done, I'll go back and I'll redo it, and that's what sent me back to go and read this, because um, you know, it's important that what defensive listeners look like. For example, a defensive listener may interpret a roommate's comment about a statement I said about me being a watchman. And so I'm just using that as an example. Okay, I take being a watchman very seriously. I just don't, it just don't, just can't, it's not a casual thing. But now, the thing about being a watchman versus a prophetess or a prophetess, that's a whole new area, you know. And a lot of time we have to wait for Yah to give us something. Just can't just get out there and just, because I'm on defense. I'm watching and I'm looking. I'm on defense all the time, you know. And so when I get off of well, when I get out of my feelings, then I can go back and be back on defense and doing the right things that I should be doing, instead of doing the negative things that I'm doing. You know, so I had to learn a lesson of that this morning. Defensive
Watch it.
listeners may go ahead. Mhm.
Excuse me. Before you continue, just to bring some clarity, what is some things that can cause a lot of our men to get in our feelings, that can get us off of being in defense, or being the watchman, if you don't mind.
Well, it's when you're close to your mate, and and your mate is kind of like, expressing certain things, um, about us, or about, just certain things. And so when those things started to happen, uh, it's like, my feelings get hurt, and I want to try to jump in and try to, clean all that stuff up, but I'm not able to do that, because once it happens, it happens. It's I don't have the perfect answer for that question. It's just, um, when it happens, and I have to learn how to deal with that. You know, uh, we tend to cover up our feelings and our emotions. You know, and so some men, they take that as being a sign of weaknesses, but that's not. That's what God gave us. What Yahuwah gave us. He gave us these emotions and these feelings. Um, and we're not perfect. We're not perfect creatures. We live in an unperfect world, an imperfect world. And Hasatan, he's far more wiser than we are. It take a lifetime of reading Yah's word, getting an understanding that Yah intend for us to have, and that's what prayer comes in at. You know, daily we have to pray that the enemy don't overtake us, because he's sharper than us. You know, so that's the best way I could put it. I don't have
Right.
a clean cut answer, because if I had a clean cut answer, I would tell you, but I don't. I just know that when these things happen, it catches us unaware. You know, but that's all a part of dwelling. We have to, even men have to dwell with each other with understanding. Women have to
Come
dwell with
on.
each other with understanding. You know, um, We have to do it with our children. You know, it's like, we might read something and we'll say, well, okay, I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna run with it. But okay, you take your run with it, then all of a sudden you get a little bit further down the road and they come back and they say, well, what about if you did this? What about, uh such and such or whatever? Now I'm confused, you know, and I don't like being confused. I like to be in control. And that's another problem that men have. We want to control everything, you know. I mean, Yah made us, he made us that way, but also Yah is in control. So that means we have to
Come on now.
turn, yeah, we have to turn over, and as AA saying, we have to turn over our will and our life over to the care of Yahuwah as he understands, not as I understand, as he understands. It's his understanding that we're seeking, and we're trying to get this understanding through reading his word. But we need to practice, you know.
Right, come on, that's big right there, because
Yeah.
it's just speaking for myself, when I was married and different things like that, even coming into the knowledge and understanding of the truth of the Most High, and it was still, I would use certain scriptures to try to justify why Chris in his flesh making decisions. It's not thus says Most High, it was thus says me, you
Yeah.
know, and
Yeah.
using scriptures to try to justify, my decision and why, this is supposed to be how I say it's supposed to go. But then I'm trying to use the Most High's words to fill in the blanks. Like, well, this is what the word says, but actually I'm taking it wrong because I just, I want to rule, over that
Mhm.
woman. And, you know, I found myself doing things wrong. And when I was doing things wrong, you know, I always thought it was weak for me to say that I was doing wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. So that's it. And even though we may uh, admit that we're wrong, not that doesn't change the fact that we've already hurt our spouse feelings, and she may still be in her feelings. Women are a little bit different. We can just set our feelings aside and we'll move on to something else. But it don't happen like that with a female. With a woman, once her feelings get hurt, they're hurt. So now we got to go on an apology tour. you know and just because we apologize and we say I'm sorry, you know that just don't get it, because we have that tendency to do it again. It's replay, you know going back, doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results, and we still keep getting the same stuff. you know so dwelling with
Oh,
our
back.
spouse with understanding, dwelling with women with understanding, that's a daily thing. You know, we're trying to, we're preparing for eternity, without the power of the Ruach that's in us, allowing the Ruach to take control and to be our teacher, we're going to be in this class for a long, long time. And that's why I'm in this class now, you know, with this. When I first heard about it, or when my wife first brought it to her, I was just joking about how wives must submit to their husbands. That's a lie. Wives do not have to submit to their husband if he's acting a doggone fool, or if he's not being the leader that Yah has called him to be. You
Come on,
know,
watch. But that's good stuff right
so
there. That You just said because a lot of men, we take that and just run with it. Yeah, the Bible says that, but obviously, like you just said, it's not talking about a woman to submit to her husband. Like you said, if he's acting foolish and if he's not going to be a leader according to the Most High standards, not according to his flesh, but according to the Most High standards. So, man, yeah, that was a nugget right there.
oh
Hallelujah.
yeah, yeah, man. And now this is my wife is a true prophetess, and I know I'm a true watchman. You know, so what the watchman tried to do was to try to keep the wife in her prophetess place. You do your thing and I'm gonna do my thing, you know, and it just got all messed up, you know. And but that's not that's not doing what I'm not doing what a husband is called to do. I am always to dwell with her with understanding. Not sometime, not yesterday, because yesterday is gone. Today, I got to dwell with her with understanding. Tomorrow, I got to dwell with her with understanding. This evening, I have to dwell with her with understanding because she is the weaker vessel. You know, we made vows. I promised that I would be there for her. So now, moving along, when we go to Proverbs uh, chapter 18, verse 22, we get something. Yah give us something. And let me find my Bible. In Proverbs 18, I'm just cause I'm cutting it a little bit short because of time. But in Proverbs chapter 18, verse 22, whoever finds a wife finds a good thing, and if he finds a good wife, he finds an even better thing. So in finding this, or in finding this wife, and you found this good thing, we obtain favor from Yahuwah. Yahuwah gives us favor, but that favor is not going to be given if we're treating our wives without trying to understand or without trying to be there to help her and to give her a lift up, you know. So in in our not in our just our defensive listening part, but the part where it tells us to dwell with her with understanding, we ought to be respectful to her. A lot of times we disrespect our wives by over talking and saying you can't tell me what to do, blah 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 blah. But the wife, she tends
Oh no.
some of them they do this. It's a vice versa thing. So we both got this defensive thing going on, you know, and that's being combated. That's where Hasatan comes in, you know. And believe me, man, sometimes, you know, when me and my wife get out of sync, you know, I'm screwed up for the whole day, you know, because I want to take care of this. I want to be able to rewrite the wrong that I've done to my wisdom. You know, I love it when she cuddles in my chest and say, "Hey, you know," and this here and stuff. I love that. But when I get out of my you know in touch with her, it's an awful feeling, man. You
Come on,
know.
it's like a flow.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
gotta have that flow.
Yes. And you know, and so when they get interrupted, you know, we our pride kicks in and we want to stuff that. But we can't grow if we letting pride rule over us, and we can't grow if we stuffing our feelings, you know. But when we do, there are certain feelings that we need to stuff, and then there are certain feelings that we just can't afford to stuff, you know. So that's when we got to go to our Father. We got to talk to Him. You know, we got to get serious, you know, with Yah, you know, and so sometimes we don't want to do that, you know. And so and that's like you shaking your head, and that's what Yah be doing. You
Come
say,
on, yeah, man. I'm like, man, that's
yeah,
hey, that's cutting because a lot of times, I know I did, and I'm like, hey, I said what I said, and I'm standing on it, and then it,
yeah,
my way or the highway. And then when I
yeah,
go back, and the Most High start dealing with me, like, boy,
yeah,
you was wrong. I
yeah,
didn't tell you to do that.
right,
You did that on your own.
yes, yes, you know. Now, okay, clean it up. Go clean it up. You know. So we need to. Well, I went and bought some donuts this morning. I ate most of them. you know, but I made sure I left a few for her. You
Right,
know.
right.
So, but that's what you call a peace offering. But that don't mean though that they're gonna accept it because they ain't nothing but a donut. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Um, but I know I gotta give her that hug. I gotta come real, and this is real time. This is real time. Um, and and I gotta get right with her, you know, because when she is not in that playful mood, that lovey mood, I miss that, you know. And like I said, I can't speak for all the other men, but any man that has this Proverbs 31 woman and that he got her according to Proverbs 18:22, then he needs to know that if you mess this up, then you also mess things up with Yah, you know. And it's hard to get a wife that is a Proverbs 31 woman, you know. I'm telling you this because my first wife, this is my second marriage. But I went through a lot of promiscuous women, a lot of Jezebels, and a lot of all this other stuff, you know, and them women ate me alive, man. You know,
Come on, hey,
because
I
I
know the
was
feeling. Me
yeah,
myself
they
too.
ate me alive. They ate me alive, and so and then what it did was it could have messed me up on from being able to get this type of wife that I have, you know. And so when it comes, all women are Yah's daughters, whether they promiscuous, whether they prostitutes, whether they Proverbs 31, they're all his daughters, you know, and they're like the woman that was at the well, and Yahushua went to her, or he was at the well, and he asked her to give me something to drink. Then he also said, I have the living waters. Then he told her that, in so many ways, she had many husbands. Now, I don't, when I look at that, she could have been a prostitute. She could have been from one man to the next, you know, and then all of a sudden, you remember that woman where that was, that had the handwriting, when Yahusha put the handwriting in the sand and he told her not to go and sin no more, he forgave her.
Right, yeah.
So she, he said, don't sin no more. And this is two different women. There's one woman that had these many husbands, and this other woman, she was way lower than the woman that had many husbands. And they wanted to stone and they wanted to kill her, And then here you got this other woman, she do the same thing, but the town people, the men that was in there, they wasn't trying to kill her. But Yahushua could look at her and tell that she had been with multiple men. But when Yah preached to her, Yahushua preached to her, and she received that living water, which is the word, she was convicted and she went and told. And they all came back, and Yahushua got a chance to preach to all of them.
Come on.
So that's what I'm saying. Even with us, our heart is kind of like, we need a heart transplant too. You know,
Come on, Watson.
yeah, we need a heart transplant too. And but I have a Proverbs 31 woman, you know, and I know that she's known very well in the marketplace, you know, and sometimes, I get something upside my head, and I get to thinking, that thinking error kick in again, saying, well, man, she disrespected you or something, They're just a little small stuff, and I see it coming. That's the crazy part about it. I see it coming. And I'm like, well, okay, then it's like we're doing combative this, we're combating with Yah word against one another, you know, and so this bickering and thing that's going on with me and her and stuff, but that's my fault because, like I said, if I'm not demonstrating dwelling with her with understanding, or if I'm not in my defensive mode, you know, in other words, let your guards down, man. Let your guards down and receive this lady. So again, I can go through the scriptures. I can read all this good stuff that I took the time to write, but I want to read something that came from the Apocrypha,
Yes,
and it
sir.
was Zerubbabel. He he spoke to the king about the king's concubine, and when he was talking about the king's concubine, uh, now the king probably had a queen too. Now you know that, huh?
Come on.
So if he had a if the king had a queen, well, why was he so enthralled with his concubine? You know, uh, and this is what happens. When we get kind of like sidetracked on not doing what we're supposed to be doing. Okay, let me see here. Sometimes I get my work out of order too. Okay.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, that's true though. What you were saying, a lot of times, we get, uh,
Yeah.
combative ourselves too, and that causes even more damage than what it's already done. So yeah,
Right.
that's a good point right
Okay.
there.
This coming from the Apocrypha, First Ezra chapter 4, the speech about the king. Then the second, which is what Zubriel spoke, who had spoken of the strength of the king, began to speak. Gentlemen, are not men strongest who rule over land and sea and all that is in them? But the king is stronger. He is their Lord and master, and whatever he says to them, they obey. If he tells them to make war on one another, they do it. And if he sends them out against the enemy, they go and conquer mountains, walls, and towers. They kill and are killed, and do not disobey the king's command. If they win the victory, they bring everything to the king, whatever spoil they take and everything else. Likewise, those who do not serve in the army or make war, but till the soil, even the earth. Whatever they sow and reap, they bring some to the king. So we are considered to be kings. You know, we are like kings,
Come
and
on
they
now.
can say that again, huh?
Oh yes, sir. I say, come on now.
And they compel one another to pay taxes to the king, and yet he is only one man. Now, this is where it's going to get kind of good. If he tells them to kill, they kill. If he tells them to release, they release. If he tells them to attack, they attack. If he tells them to lay waste, they lay waste. If he tells them to build, they build. If he tells them to cut down, they cut down. If he tells them to plant, they plant. All his people and his armies obey him. Furthermore, he reclines, he reclines, he eats and drinks and sleeps, but they keep watch around him, and no one may go away to attend to his own affairs, nor do they disobey him. Now, we're to get into some meat. Gentlemen, why is not the king the strongest since he is to be obeyed in his fashion? Here comes the speech about women. Now, remember I was telling about the woman at the well and the woman that
Right,
was
yes,
caught
sir.
in the act of committing adultery. Okay, now this is a concubine. But now the king got to have a queen. But this one lady who's a concubine, she's a little bit different. It says, gentlemen, why is not the king stronger since he is to be obeyed in this fashion? The speech about a woman. Then the third, who has spoken of the woman in truth, and this is Zerubbabel, began to speak. Gentlemen, is not the king great? Are not men many? And is not wine strong? Who is it then that rules them and has the mastery over them? Is it not women? Women gave birth to the king and every people that rules over sea and land. From women they came, and women they brought up. So the woman is one that raised us. Your mama
Come on.
raised you.
Come
My
on
mama
now. Yeah.
raised me. My
Yeah.
grandma helped raise me.
Right.
Okay, women brought up the very men who plant the vineyards. From the trees comes wine. Women, women make men's clothes. They bring men glory. Men cannot exist without women. If men gather gold and silver or any other beautiful thing, and then see a woman lovely in appearance and beauty, they let all those things go. We get wild, eyes get big and stuff. Okay, we gape at her with open mouth, and we stare at her, and all prefer her to gold or silver or any other beautiful thing. A man leaves his own father who brought him up and his own country and clings to his wife. Okay? So with his wife, he ends his days with no thought of his father or his mother or his country. Therefore, you must realize that women rule over us. They really do. Because if they're not happy, we ain't happy. If they happy, we happy. Do you not labor and toil and bring everything and give it to the women? A man takes his sword and goes out to travel and rob and steal and sail the sea and rivers. He faces lions and he walks in darkness. And when he steals and robs and plunders, he brings it back to the woman he loves. He brings it back to the woman he loves. A man loves his wife more than his father or his mother. Many men have lost their minds because of women and have become slaves because of them. Many have perished or stumbled or sinned because of women. And now, do you not believe me? Is not the king great in his power? Do not all the lands fear to touch him? Yet I have seen him with Apame, her name is Apame. This is his concubine, the king's concubine, the daughter of the illustrious Bardacus. She could sit at the king's right hand and take the crown from the king's head and put it on her own and slap the king with her left hand. You know what the king did?
Dang.
Huh? What did he do?
I don't know what he
What you
did.
do? What you doing now? What
Smiling.
was you? Yeah, you smiling, you laugh. And the king would gaze at her with mouth agape. If she smiles at him, he laughs. If she loses her temper with him, he flatters her so that she may be reconciled to him. Gentlemen, we are not women. Let me say, gentlemen, why are not women strong since they do such things? Okay, now, so my question is this: we men need the woman. Our mothers, we needed our mothers. I was breastfed when I was a kid, when I was coming up. A lot of women just get a child about whatever though, but it's always the woman that nurtures the man. You know, so Yah has given the woman favor. Now, when we go back to what happened to the scene in the garden, if our daddy or if Adam would have, because he was there, if he would have disagreed with not taking the forbidden fruit, Yah would not have held it against them. You know, Adam took it and then he blamed Eve. It leaves Eve. She admitted that she had been beguiled. She was deceived, but Adam was not deceived. He was right there when it all happened, and all he had to do was be a man. And that's what I'm saying. All we gotta do is be
Come
a
on
man.
now. Yeah, yeah, that's a good. Yeah, that's good right there. Yeah, I like that because, he definitely did. He didn't take accountability because the Most High told him. He didn't tell a woman. He told Adam.
He told him. That's right. That's right. He told Adam, and then Adam turned around and he blamed his wife. You know, and so, but that's another story. So, anyway, women have this thing about themselves that it could be the smell, it could be her beauty, it could be a variety of things that draw us to them, you know. But they're not just vessels to we can just use and do whatever we want to do to them, you know. And so yeah, he holds us accountable when he give us one of his daughters, you know. And sometimes we make the mistake of moving too soon. I messed up my first marriage, but my marriage was doomed because I went into an adulterous relationship, you know and so it was already doomed. The relationship that I have with my wife, even though she's been married 2 times, I've been married once, we got out of those fornication things that we were doing, the adulterous things that we were doing, and we got our hearts right, you know, and we went before Yah, and Yah, just like all women, I don't know of a perfect woman nor a perfect man that's on this earth,
Come
you
on.
know.
Yeah, that's
We've
true.
all
That's true.
sinned and we come short to the glory, you know. We have been forgiven. Yah says that I'll make you clean. And so, and that's another thing, that's gonna be another little deal that somebody else is gonna teach about, how Yah make us clean. But anyway, Yah, what he did was he allowed me to meet this woman, my wife, and then after I met her, I was thinking, I say, well, how do I obtain favor with Yah? It says that's what Scripture says that to have favor with Yahuwah, that means Yahuwah is gonna lead you to do certain things, but He's gonna break you first. He just ain't gonna just let you be with his daughter, and you ain't been broken.
Yeah, can you break that down, Watcher, about the man being broken? Because I'm
Man,
very, yeah, I think that's very interesting and can be a nugget right there.
yeah, man. To be broken is when you come you come full forward with not just only the truth, where where you say, look, Yah has dealt with me, and uh, and in dealing with me, He showed me that I'm not all that. Um, there was some things that I was doing before I met my wife, and Yah was displeased with that, and so you say, yeah, you might have this, you might, you're doing good, you got a nice job, you got a nice pretty red truck, um, and you're on Easy Street. He said, but I'm going to take that from you. And so what I mean is he stripped me down. He stripped me down to the point to where now, before when I married my wife, he took everything from me. And my wife told me, she said, things ain't gonna be like you think it's gonna be. Yeah, I got to break you And I really thought I'm already broken, you know. No, you're gonna go through something. You're gonna go through some stuff. And believe me, man, for 2.5 years, I was learning how to be a husband, a broke husband.
Come on now.
Trusting a broke husband, trusting, Yah to take care of me because I didn't, I'm doing the very best I can to take care of my wife. But my wife was out there, she was out there making the money, while I was home washing dishes and washing the clothes and all that stuff, you know. Uh, the roles flipped, you know. But my wife kept praying for me. She kept saying, these are the things that a man has to go through. If you don't experience brokenness, how can you appreciate the things that God given? This wife that He's given him, you see. And believe me, my wife worked in the corporate field. She was with the ballers and the ballers and stuff. She told big time businessmen she ran their companies and stuff. This is the type of wife y'all gave me. And then uh, so after I lost my truck and stuff, um, my truck got wrecked. And so, but anyway, we got my little settlement. Truck got paid off and stuff. And here it is, I'm trying to buy a truck, and I couldn't buy a truck because it was just too high. Didn't have enough money to be able to pay for a truck. So y'all gave me a truck. He gave me a truck. He gave me a trailer. You know, a means to be able to get out there and hustle. You know, and to believe me, I was hustling.
Yeah, come
Detailing
on. Come
cars and
on.
stuff. It's a very humbling experience to have to go hustle and to be able to cut yourself short, for $1. But those are the things that had to break my pride.
Yeah.
And in
Can you
breaking my
expound upon that
pride,
a little bit? Because I don't and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But
mhm,
can you expound upon it a little bit? Because I know some, but not all.
mhm,
Some men, we don't understand sometimes that, a lot of times we got to cut ourselves short to be able to get out there and go get it. And it's not going to be like handed to us. And a lot of times, because like you said earlier, because of our pride, we we'll shy away from jobs that might not be the, you know, big paying jobs, or a job that we think in our mind that a man's supposed to be working.
mhm.
And we'll not take that job, but yet, we know we still have to provide, but at the same time, it's like, we pray to, to get some type of job, and the most I might provide might be dishwashing for a season, might be washing cars for a season. But oh nah, man, that ain't no job for a man. And then a lot of times we can be intimidated because our wives might be making more money than us. Can you kind of expound upon that?
Yes, and so my wife, she said, she said, babe, she said, I'm praying that one day Yah will get you to the point to where you're going to be able to take care of all the bills. You know, but Yah going to get you to a point to where you got a daily job to go to every day and not make more money and make more money than what I make. When y'all was breaking me, my wife was making more money than what I was making. And men, but I didn't get in my feelings though, you know. When she made those got them little checks and stuff, them checks came in just in time, so the bills got paid. I went through counseling. Uh it's not that I was begging people for handouts and stuff, it was just people were just saying no. They were just saying no. It just when then it was during a time of COVID, nobody wasn't working, you know. But
Oh
God
yeah,
got
yeah,
me through
definitely.
that. Yeah,
Come
He
on.
got me through it. He got me through it, and then my wife made a simple suggestion. She said, "Honey," she said, "why don't you go to one of these temp service and see if they'll put you to work?" Okay, so I went to a company called People Ready, and I started working for them. Got my it's a license to be able to certified flagman, and I thought this was gonna be the job. It lasted for about 2 weeks, and then after that, the company folded, and then another company came in. They hired all their workers, so that job was got put on hold. But every now and then, people were they'll send me to a little job here, a little job there, and they pay me by the day and stuff. And that was good. You know, but so when my wife say, "Well, hang on to People Ready, and won't you go to another temp service?" You know, and so I went to Manpower. Manpower hired me. So I got People Ready, I got Manpower. Manpower sent me on far more jobs than People Ready sent me on, but it wasn't paying the bills, you know. But I was going through that growth process, coming from a state of brokenness to y'all building me back up because he's showing me, said, I'll take care of you. All you gotta do is just get out there and do the footwork. Soldier. So I ain't no king no more. Soldier. I'm a soldier now.
Yeah, come
You
on,
know.
boots to the ground.
Yeah, yeah. And so that went on for a couple of months. I went on some job interviews, but I didn't get hired. Then the last job that I was on with Manpower, this lady that worked for this apartment complex, she said, "Why don't you try Express?" She said, "That's how I got this job." She said, "Go to Express and put an application and see what they'll do." So I'm working for People Ready, I'm working through Manpower, and I went to Express. Express hired me and they sent me to work. And I started off at a construction company called CDI and went to another construction company called SCI and went to another construction company called Jacoby Brothers and went to the company that I now work for and I'm hired full time, HGR. And I worked consistently for 2 years. Instead of me now waiting on the income tax check to come in, I pay taxes now. So y'all brought me up from the pits, and they put me in that position now where I have favor with him. But that don't mean he
Like,
can't
come on,
take it from
Rocky.
me.
Come
He can
on.
take it from me if I get the big head and stuff. You know.
But one thing that
So
you said that I'm taking, I'm taking all of this in as
mhm,
well, is that, you was, consistent,
yes,
consistent in the most high first, believing and trusting in him. And then also, you wasn't afraid to get out there. So, you know, I just pray that, whoever watched this, especially for the men, that we'll take this in that, we have to be, consistent. Cause, a lot of times, and I was like this too. You
hmm
know, I wasn't consistent in, I said with my mouth I wanted a job, but then I was lazy in a lot of areas, you
hmm
know, and definitely was lazy in faith and lazy in, you know, my spiritual growth
hmm
because, faith without works is dead. So yeah, I
Amen.
can have faith, but if I'm just, sitting on my behind and not doing nothing, not
Yeah.
actively seeking, and like you said, not afraid to go to the people ready and labor jobs like that.
hmm
A lot of times, just by us stepping out on faith, the
hmm
Most High see, okay, now I see that you're applying, you're applying yourself, you're trying. Now I can go on here and make a little thing happen right here, get you a little job here, just a little job there, and I know that it's a lot of times that me, especially coming into the faith and everything, like you said, I was broken in the wrong way. I was broken in my feelings, broken in because of the women that I was choosing, and my first marriage was built on fornication because we played house for 2 years before we even got married.
Yeah.
Shacking up with one another and doing all of that crazy stuff, and I was getting jobs and losing jobs, getting jobs and losing jobs, and
hmm
I know a lot of that had to do with, first of all, my disobedience, but also, I wasn't I wasn't ready to not only be a husband, but I wasn't even a man as far as responsibilities wise, because all my life, I was doing childish stuff. Even in my adulthood, I was an adult in age, but in my the way that I carried myself and taking on responsibilities, you know, man, I was so far gone on that. And then it didn't know the woman that I got with, she came from a broken home and blah 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 blah. So it was just so much that played into that. So I just thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. Hey man, it's a blessing. You know, and I have not gotten away from the script, but this is the script. This is the true brokenness that I had to go through. You know, but what y'all had me to write was something that now I got to go through this thing with the dwelling part. It's just it just don't just because you do the footwork and you do the lesson and stuff, and you talk about it, you got to live it. That's living his word, his word becomes a part of our life, and so it brings out in other words, what I'm doing is I'm killing that old man daily. That old man got to die daily in order for the new man to survive. And Yah is he's telling me, he's saying, look, he said, each day that you come in, you got a thing. Me and you have a thing that we do every morning. You'll text me. Sometimes you send me scriptures. You'll say, good morning, watchman. Shalom, watchman. And I'll see the text. And sometimes I may not see it then, but you this early in the morning. I said, do the boy ever sleep? You know? And so, and I say, shalom, young warrior. That's a daily thing every day. It's a daily thing that when I get up in the morning, Yah mostly wakes me up at between 4:30. Most mornings I get up at 4:30. I don't need an alarm. The last two mornings I got up at five something. I'm like, man, I overslept. Then the next morning I got up at something till five. I'm like, man, I overslept. But Yah was saying, but I woke you up though, and you're not late for work. You know, it's just that I've been working a little bit harder, but I'm grateful. But every morning, except for on the Shabbat, I rest. But I'm saying we still have our group call and stuff. But that's the only morning that I rest because he said that's what we're supposed to do. Some Sundays, I have work to do. I have job signs, set up and stuff where I have to travel, have to go out of town and stuff and travel and do, do what I need to do and stuff. But what I'm saying is, I start my day with Yah
Come on now.
every morning. Every morning it's with Him, you know. And I come in here, and I ask Him. I say, "What do you want me to do today?" You know, I have it's a script that I read every day, except for the Shabbat, about the demonic, a prayer about warfare and increase demonic attack. In the name of Yahushua HaMashiach, King of Kings and Master of Masters, I ask you, Most High, to fill me up to overflowing with your precious Holy Spirit, your Ruach HaKodesh, as I pray these words in your mighty and powerful name. Your word teaches that we have the power and authority to tread on serpents, scorpions, and over all the power of the enemy, and nothing shall by any means hurt us. Luke chapter 10:19. Every day I read that. And then I go into, so Heavenly Father, Yahuwah, I pray that all forms of evil in our lives and the lives of our loved ones be sent back now to your feet for judgment. You have already won the victory, Yahushua, conquering evil, sin, and death for all time. And I declare these truths in this realm this day. Father Yahuwah, I come to your courtroom, entering your gates with thanksgiving and your courts with praises. asking that our sins and transgressions be forgiven, as I forgive all those who have come against me in this lifetime. Please, Father Yahuwah, hear my prayers and petitions on behalf of ourselves, our loved ones, and all of your children. I ask you now, Father Yahuwah, to avenge us of the enemy of our souls. Greater is you, Yahuwah, who is in us, than he, the adversary, who is in the world. No weapon formed against us will prosper, and every tongue that rises up against us, you have condemned. This is our heritage as sons and daughters of the Most High Yahuwah, and our righteousness is from you. All enemies of our soul, I send you to the court of our Father Yahuwah, the great I am. I break you all evil spirits, and for the Ruach HaKodesh to destroy you by fire and bring you to ashes in Yahushua's name. Serpent of death, and every strong man break and be brought to ashes in Yahushua's mighty name. Every attempt at satanic or witchcraft programming of any kind, break and be brought to ashes by Yahushua's holy Ruach fire. Every mouth that speak any wickedness against us, break in Yahushua's mighty name. And any power that is reporting us to Hasatan or his demons, break and be destroyed in Yahushua's mighty name. May every stolen blessing come to us in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. I bind, smash, and send back to you, Yahushua, for judgment, all demonic thrones, principalities, dominions, powers, minions, territorial, and tribal spirits, and any and all demonic spirits who are attempting to infiltrate our lives in any way. I forbid any of Hasatan's demons from exciting influence over any area of our lives, our workplaces, our vehicles and transportation, our dwelling place, our finances, our health, our children, our spouse, our relatives, our interaction with others in the region where we live and work. In the mighty name of Yahushua HaMashiach. Hallelujah.
Come on,
Every day,
hallelujah. Hey, that's
every day,
powerful.
man. Yes, it
Come
is.
on now.
And some mornings when I don't know what I'm going to be up against. I don't know, and House of Ton, no, don't read that. Don't read that. No, yeah, I'm going to read it. I'm just reading it now. You know, I finally got to it because this morning the enemy was trying to keep me from getting on this call. He was trying to break me down, you know, because he said, yeah, you can go by the script, yeah. Y'all see, you can go by the script and say, but I want you to get real today. I want you to let the people know what's going on, you
Come
know.
on, let the walk have his way. Let it flow through
Yeah,
you.
that's right, And so, when I go to my Issa, you know, I'm gonna repair the breach. I'm gonna go and humble myself, and I'm gonna say, look, sweetheart, I got in my feelings this morning. And boy, she gonna love that. She really gonna love that because that's what a man do. It's not a show of weaknesses. It's saying that, hey, I'm not stupid anymore. I'm not gonna be hard at it because y'all spankers, man. I don't want to
Ooh,
get
yes,
spanked.
that he does watch it. Come on
Yeah,
now. You
yeah, I don't want to
you
get
speaking
spanked.
better than I'm listening.
Yeah, so and that's what happens. We've been trying to get to the end of this for the last almost a month. Now we're finally there. But that's just the beginning because there's some other stuff. A brother that spoke about family, about being a father. You know, I haven't had a chance to listen to it, but I listened to some of it, and I'm like, wow. You know, I said, well, here we go again. But that's what it is. We're living in the end days, the latter days. We're living in that time now. And if we don't have Yah in our life, if we don't have Yahushua showing us how to live this life, we're in trouble. We're not going to be equipped. We're not going to be thoroughly equipped for every good work. You know, so we have to trust. Now, you got single men, that's in the Word. You got single women that's in the Word, but you also have men of Yah that's in the Word with their spouse, with their wife, with their Issa. And I have a strong Issa. I have a strong wife, you know, and so, and I hope she's listening to me. I hope I want her to listen to this tape and the one prior to that, because the one prior to that was just the refresher course. This is the real deal. This is the fruit. This is the
Laying the
meat.
foundation was that first one. This one
Yes,
is
yes,
like you say, is getting real. And one of the
yes,
things that you said, is that the men, who is married, getting into the word with your wife, both of y'all, that's very important because Satan, he comes against that because he don't want, you know, both of y'all to be equipped, and for you being a watcher and your wife being a prophetess, that
yes,
that is something that Satan, he definitely would try to come and divide that because he knows how important it is for both of y'all, to know the word of the Most High, and that's what a lot of some, not all, but some men, they get that confused, and they want a woman to, some, not all, but they want a woman to be, sit down and shut up and just ain't good enough, but just to open her legs, make babies, and go, iron your khakis for work,
yeah,
and not knowing, I think we spoke about this in the first one. Man, I want a woman. We need women who know how to get in 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 that word and come against these demonic spirits and pray for us in the spirit, man. That's important.
yes,
So we don't want no woman who, if attacks start coming and stuff like that, she's unlearned or don't know, or she haven't been in the word herself, because that's important, for any women who watch this, single or married, you got to get in the word for yourself. But it's
yes.
important for, if you're married, for the men, teach your wives. Teach them, get it, make sure that they in the word too, because you don't want no woman, man, if when stuff start happening, she buckle, you know.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's important.
It's very important, you know. And I'm not ashamed to say it, young warrior. I've been in the word for a long, long time, you know. But my wife is when she go all the way back to when she was 5 years old. She believed Yah then, and even when she was going through the Christian era, she was there. Was she was in a lead of people, a league of women that was strong, and then Yah called her out of that, and she's even stronger. You know, now she's a writer now. You know, and she got multiple people on her on her Facebook page and on her different groups that she's in. You know, um, when I met her, I say, man, I don't know how I'm gonna be able to you know get this woman to be my wife. She knew I was looking for a wife. She said, that man there looking for a wife, but she wasn't trying to be found. And I can understand it because she was, her life was surrounded with Yah, but she needed a helpmate, you know, and I needed a helpmate. And so he put us together. I tell her, I say, you was chosen for me before we were even born. And I said, Hasatan, he what he did was he tried to mess up both of our lives to where we was not gonna run across each other's path. But I was searching for my wife, you know, and in the process of searching for her, I found her. And when a man finds a wife, he finds a good
Good
thing.
thing. Come
So
on now.
and he obtains, and I'm not reading the script no more. I found her. Now, this wife that I have, you know, she done slapped me upside my head a couple of times too. And I did just like the king. I'm like, huh? Oh, and then I laughed it off,
Come on.
you know. But she also, Yah has given her the wisdom to give me correction, and I have to receive it. I may not want to, but I have to receive it, you know. Now, he do the same for me too, but I'm careful because I know she by her being we're equal, but by her being the weaker vessel, I have to be careful because I could hurt her, I could injure her, you know. And believe me, y'all gonna stand up for his daughters.
Oh
He gonna
yeah,
spank
definitely.
us.
Come
He gonna
on now.
stand up for his daughter, but he gonna spank us. So I have to be real careful, you know. Sometimes I gotta zip it, you know. And the last word, I hate that. I really do hate that because the last word is the putting the nail in the coffin, you
Ooh,
know.
come on.
And
Mm,
and I hate to be the one to have to use the last word, and that's pride again, because those words, the last word hurts and it injures her. And so this same little thing, that let me see if I can find it. She is our wife. Encourage her talents, support her projects, passions, and career aspiration. Ensure she is treated with dignity and worth, not as possession or an object. Protect her reputation. Don't allow jokes at her expense or harsh words from others to go unchecked. I got to check me
ooh, come on now.
because if I check me, then I ain't got to worry about nobody else doing that because now I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm dwelling with her with understanding. That's my lesson for the day. When I woke up this morning, I thought it was just gonna be gravy. It was gonna be easy, but I had to go through some stuff to get to this point. I had to humble my pride in order to be able to get this message across. You know, And I still got to go out there. I ain't got the vacuum cleaner, but it's in here somewhere. But I still got to go out there and clean that mess up, man. I got to get back
Right,
right
come
with
on.
it, you know. But that's a daily thing,
Yeah, yeah, come
tomorrow,
on.
tomorrow gonna be something else,
All right.
you know. But we don't let the sun go down. We get it right before the sun go down because she sleeps with me, and I can't go to bed mad at her, and I definitely don't want her going to bed mad at me, you know. So we're gonna look here. We're gonna take this charge to house of time. We're gonna pray about it, you know, uh, and we're gonna subdue the enemy, because he didn't want
Right,
me to get on this call today. He didn't want me to speak what's being spoken, you know. And I
right,
pray
yeah,
that not just the women, but I pray that the men hear this here, and I know that they got something to say too. And I pray that the men that we do what we call to do. Take care of our vessel, man. You
yeah,
know,
come on, Watson. Yeah,
yeah,
that's
take care of our vessel.
that's something that everything that was said today, that's what the scriptures say. The whole conclusion of the matter is for us men, to recognize our spouse and recognize that it's it's some things that we have to look at within ourselves and to make sure that you know we're lining up with the Most High's will. Make sure that we're submitting to Hamashiach and not just going off of our feelings, not going off of because I'm the head of the household that I'm just ruling and doing. No, man, we can't operate out of our flesh because that's what Hashatan wants. That's how he comes and divide and conquer. Because if we're not lined up with the Most High, if we're not
Mhm.
submitting ourselves to Hamashiach, then we're not going to yeah, we might lead, but we'll be leading according to our flesh and not according to what His Word says.
That's right. That's right. So, set aside all that foolishness and get back right with Yah. This brother told me a long time ago, if you get right with God, now he's saying God. I don't know who his God was. But if you get right with Yah, Yah will get right with you. He will, and he'll keep you right. I don't stay in this mess long. I go into I call it the quiet zone, but in that quiet zone, I'm by myself. I'm like, man, look at here. It's quiet, you know. Uh, and when my mind is like, I want to be in that good spirit. I don't want to have that spirit of doom over me, that cloud, talking about, now I got you now, I got you now. You might have me for a moment, but you don't have me. Yahuwah got me. Yahushua has me.
Come on.
You know,
Hallelujah.
see what I'm saying? That's who has me, you
That's
know.
right.
And so I'm just grateful to be on this podcast. If you ever need me to get on again, I might have something
Oh
else.
yeah. Oh yes, most definitely. It's always a pleasure to bring you on, Watcher, and just the nuggets that you were dropping, is definitely things that I'm taking in for myself, as being a single man right now, but also praying for, uh a wife, Proverbs 31. And one thing that I know for a fact, and what you was mentioning today, is that the Most High, He allowed me to be separated from His daughters to
Mm-hmm.
get Chris together. It's a lot of things that I had to look at me, and I had to
Mm-hmm.
correct within myself. So I praise y'all for that, because it's making me a better man and being more grounded in Him. So it's all praises to the Most High. And for closing words, as we getting ready to land this plane, what are some things that you will or some advice that you can give to some men who is in the process of seeking a wife right now?
Well, the thing is what Yah has really already chosen. His wife is already there waiting on him. All he got to do now is just open his eyes, stop looking for her. I mean, what I'm saying is stop looking for her and just see her. Because it's just like a guy told me, he said, Randy, he said, this is how you know you meet your wife. You're a horse, and you're in this big old pasture. It's just nothing but a big old pasture. It's just you. You out there just galloping and galloping and galloping and galloping, running around in the pasture. Then all of a sudden you see her coming on the side of you, and she doing the same thing. And now y'all galloping together. And it didn't make much sense because, I'm like, well, I don't understand that. But what it was when she comes into your pasture, y'all will put her in your pasture. You ain't got to go looking for her. He will put her in your pasture. And it's just gonna only be her. It ain't gonna be no more she horses and all these other little horses that you've been running around trying to do this thing with. It's just gonna be her. And then you're gonna respect her. You're gonna go into celibacy. You're not gonna touch her until you put this on her. When you put that on her finger, then you can touch her. You know, all of Yah's daughters are very sacred. you know. But a man needs a wife. That's what he told Adam. He said, man was not made to be by himself. He need a helpmate. But when he get his helpmate is equal. That's that rib. Once that rib comes back into place, that makes the man connected again. He can walk and he can stand strong, he can stand tall, you know. But also it's the same for the rib. His Issa, his wife. She needs somebody too that can latch on to her and say, okay, baby, I got you, you know. And when we go through the rough times and stuff, I got you when we go through the rough times. And when I go through the rough times, you got me. When we go through the storm together, we got each other. When we get into them dark places, we the light. Our light must shine in darkness. You see? And so that's the best thing that I can say for, especially for a young man, that's looking for a wife. First, get your house in order. Get your house in order right here. Get your heart right. If you get right with Yahuwah, Yahuwah will get right with you. And that's all I need to say about it. We have to keep our, and then once we get our house in order, we got to keep it, because the woman that comes into our life, she could be a broken vessel. We got to pour into her. She got to see that we truly, truly care about her, and I mean pour into her daily, you know. And then what she'll do is you'll look and you'll see this precious jewel that you have. And that's where the Proverbs 31 woman comes in at, and she's very worthy, because she is the daughter of the king. She is the daughter of the most high. She is the most precious gift that Yahuwah could give to a man. And we need to cherish that, you know. And so when I'm not at right with my wife, I'm gonna get it right. I'm not gonna go to bed tonight without look here, baby. However that little thing started this morning, we're gonna nip it in the bud. But I'm gonna still be a watchman, and she gonna still be a prophetess. You know, we got this thing. She'll tell me to stay in my lane. She can do that. She can tell me to stay in my lane, but in her lane is a little bit more higher than what my lane is. And I'm being honest with you, because I know she speaks for the Most High. So if she speak a bad word on me, then guess what? My daddy gonna deal with me. She tell me all the time. She say, "Don't worry." She say, "I know what to do." I'm like, "Oh God, dog it."
Oh man, take it to the
Yeah,
most high.
yeah, man. So,
Yes, sir.
so but that's just the way it is, man. Us men we have a pride issue, man. I mean, that's all I can say is we got a pride issue. We got an issue with pride. You know, it's not about being a wimp or anything like that. But we need to do something with our pride, man. We really do. But it's not easy. I mean, sometimes pride can be a strong thing, or being proud. But pride and proud is, I think, it's two. They run neck to neck. But with pride, it causes you to lose so much. You know, I don't know what I'd do without my Issa. I'm serious. My Issa, when she had cancer, she don't have cancer anymore. She's been healed.
Come
But
on, hallelujah. All praise to the most high.
yeah, I was just, there was days I didn't know what to do, you know. But y'all say, you got to trust me, dude. They say, I done brought you through everything, you know. This is a small thing, you know. Pray, you know. Stay prayed up, man. That's what we got to do. We got to stay prayed up. You know, uh, I would always, when my wife would come to bed at nighttime, I say, the two shall become one. I would always say that. Then one night, my wife said it. She said, the two shall become one. And I said, well, I hadn't said that in a good while. Why? Because we're one. We have become one, you know. And so, it's, but just because this conversation sounds pretty good, we still gonna be tested, That's how we grow. If we can't rest on our laurels, you know, we got to grow continuously each and every day. Iron sharpening iron.
Come
You
on,
know,
watch it. Yes, yes.
that's what it is. Iron sharpening iron. It's uncomfortable sometimes, man. I don't even like that noise, but guess what, though, boy? When you know you're sharp, you know you're sharp.
Hey, come on now.
You know.
Exactly. Yes, yes,
Yeah. So,
yes. That's right.
yeah, I got something else. But it'll be a while before I get to do it. Uh, it's it has to do with it's I guess I can't speak it right now. Um, it has to do with the armor, putting on the armor. Uh, I have it, but I haven't messed with it yet. But when I mess with it, and y'all give me the understanding on it, because we have to put the armor on every day. You know, each one is a little bit different. But I have a coin, and it was when I was at the Denton Freedom House. And this coin is solid. It's solid metal. It ain't tarnished or nothing. You know, and I every day it's with me. It's always with me every day. Sometimes I thought I don't I've never lost it, but every now and then it'll fall. And I'll pick it up. And it still looks good. Shining up that armor, man. We got to put that armor
Right.
on because
Come on.
we're at war. It's
Yeah,
time.
we
It's
at
time
war.
to really put that armor on, man, daily. You
Come on.
know. So yeah, he's getting me ready for that. There's some other stuff that I finished. I need one of my elders to. I want him to proofread it. I really want him to give his comment, get a commentary on it, and it's real deep, man. Um, it's about we're living in the end times. My suggestion is that every brother read and sisters read the Apocrypha. Get in it. And then there are some other books that's a little deep too. And I'm trying to, the Forgotten Books of Eden. You heard the book of Yasher? Jasher, Jasher, Yasher.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah. I've been
Get
reading it on and off in the Seeper, or some people call it Selfer. But
yeah.
and then also I got the KJVA app, and it
Mhm.
has a lot of the what they consider the lost books. So yeah, I
Yeah.
definitely or that, or also I'll listen to it on the audio Bible sometimes too.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
There's an
Yeah. Oh,
app.
powerful book.
This here app is called the Bible Hub. Go on to your what you call that when you want
The
to download an app.
Google Play Store.
Yeah, Play Store. Go to Play
Okay.
Store and download the Bible Hub. It got all the different Bibles translations that you can that you want to be reading from. But also in the Bible Hub, it can take you to the word search and stuff. I'm not into the word search. My wife is, but it's a lot of stuff in there. Um, I wish that I could understand Hebrew. I'm talking about really, really, truly understand Hebrew. You know, but that's no excuse for me not to continue to study. To show myself approved unto Yahuwah and rightly divide His word of truth because it's there. It's there. I mean, even if you just have to read the regular Bible from Genesis to Revelation, I promise you, whatever you are in your walk, that's what you're going to be reading. you know. And so when this came up, that's where I was in my walk, you know, learning how to dwell with my wife with understanding, you know. Now it's a daily thing. It's just not, I do it one day, it's a daily thing, you know. So but that's how we grow, man, you know.
Yeah, come on, Watchers, man. That's and this whole you know from part one to part two, it has been a blessing, and I
Mhm.
I praise the Most High that we was able to get it done, and
Mhm.
definitely looking forward to Most High bring us back together, to do something else, if it be His will. And I
Yeah.
took a lot from this, and even today, even more as you were just letting the Ruach Hakodesh just have his way, and it definitely was a baraka, it was a blessing, And I'm the same way too. I don't know a lot of Hebrew. I know a
Mm-hmm.
little bit. I
Yeah.
prayed about that,
Mm-hmm.
and I believe at that time when I prayed about it, um,
Mm-hmm.
it was more of me wanting to get into it, and most I was like, look, I need you to look. You worrying
Yeah.
about that? I need you to deal with yourself. This this
Right.
this is so Uh, but I do here and there I'll look into it and different things like that. I believe right
Mm-hmm.
now he has me more of in recovery from healing and deliverance.
Yes.
From just myself and being sober. And I praise the Most High. It's been over a year. I haven't touched no cigarette. I haven't touched no weed. Haven't touched
That's right.
no type of alcohol or beer or anything like
Mm-hmm.
that. Uh,
Yeah.
I had one or two cups of wine when with me and my Akiru, the one that I'm with, and
Mm-hmm.
he was doing a wedding, and I had Stella Rose. I had a couple of cups of wine, and then
Mm-hmm.
other than that, I haven't touched anything else. So I
Mm-hmm.
praise y'all for that because sobriety is something big. That was a lot of my downfall. A lot of things that it was just me, having to deal with myself. And once that I got sober physically, then he started working on me getting sober spiritually. It's a
Yeah.
spiritual sobriety that I don't think a lot of people understand.
Mm-hmm.
Or some might not, but it's a spiritual sobriety of getting focused on the Most High and seeking Him,
Yeah.
and that spiritual development and spiritual growth and hydrating that spiritual man. And man, doing that, I believe they call it not the 360, but what is it? Is the
180.
yeah, yeah, that 180
180.
turn, yeah,
180. You're going one way and you turn around and you go the other way. The
right,
360 is going in circles.
circles, right,
You're just going in circles. At
yeah,
180,
that 180,
180 degrees.
yeah,
Now you said right.
come on,
Either going north or either going south, but we're not going east, west, north, south. We're
come
not
on,
doing it. We're going one direction.
direction, yes,
And guess what? Guess who got our back? Yahushua? And Yahuwah got us up front.
come on,
So another 180, we go back. Now Yahushua got us, and Yahuwah got our back.
come on,
We don't have to go in.
definitely,
Yeah.
yes, all that going in circles. That was a lot. Just this the Most High showing me myself, and
Mhm.
that's why I say this is definitely something definitely I gleaned a lot from, and
Mhm.
I just thank the Most High for uh, allowing you to be on. Also, tell Uriel that I say peace and blessings and shalom. I I,
Yeah.
I love her being on Facebook and the poems and different things that she sends is definitely a blessing.
Yeah.
Yes,
Definitely.
indeed.
Hey, and even when I mess up, she'll write something. I say, okay. I say, I'll be putting out stuff out there. So, but really, it's just not only just me. It's somebody else that's like me, or somebody else that's going through what I'm going through. So we share our experience and our strength and our hope with one another. And she do it in a big area. You know, my deal is to watch according to Ezekiel, not Ezekiel, Habakkuk chapter 1, no, Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 1 through 4. And I'm still waiting on Yah to give me what he want me to have, and when he give it to me, I'll speak it, you know. And, like right now, I got to go back to doing what he told me to do. Watch. When he called me to speak again, I'll speak. And whatever it is, like I said, I'm hoping that it be, you know, concerning the armor, putting on the armor. I looked at it this morning, and I say, "Are you ready for me?" No, not yet. Okay, babe. So,
That's right.
just gotta just hold on, man.
Yes, definitely. Yes, yeah, we just got to hold on and I just thank you for joining me on this broadcast. Pray that whoever watched this when uploaded, that it'll be a blessing. Uh, we praise the Most High first of all for allowing this to go forth. And man, I love you, my cousin, watcher, elder, brother.
Yes,
This is family both ways, spiritually and physically. And we
yes.
just pray that this was edifying for the body. And with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and let you go, my brother. This is another edition of Can We Talk and Not Talk? I'm
Yes.
brother Chris, and this is my cousin, elder, watcher, brother Randy Kirkwood. And we pray that everybody have a blessed day. Shalom, shalom, family.
Shalom, shalom, and hallelujah. Praise Yahuwah.
Hallelujah.
Be blessed, young warrior.
Yes, sir. You too.
Okay, now.
All right.
All right. Let's see here. Where I
Thanks for watching. Can We Talk or Not Talk podcast? Hallelujah. Shalom, shalom, family.